If you're trying to find a business credit card and you're operating an LLC, a DBA, a C-Corp, a triple LP, and the thing about it is you don't want to show any bank statements. You don't want to have to prove that you have a DUNS number. You don't want to have to prove that you have a Paydex score, buying unnecessary net 30s. And you want to actually just get to the business credit cards. Then the credit card that I'm telling you about today is Barclays. Barclays has several credit cards, all right? And there may be a back door that can possibly help you get access to this card as well. And so I'm going to throw that out there that it possibly is. But that being said, understanding, like I said, if you are especially a new startup business and you're trying to get business funding, one of the things I continue to tell you is don't go for business loans, especially with the traditional banks. With your traditional banks, you always want to start with your credit cards, okay? And then when you go from your credit cards, you want to go from your credit cards to your line of credit, okay? It's too much red tape for the business loans, all right, as a startup, all right? So that's the reason I tell you to go for the credit cards. Now, understanding with Barclays, the reason I like Barclays is this, all right? Here's the thing about it. When you're trying to go for a business credit card, with American Express, they're starting to pull your TransUnion and your Experian. But once you actually have established a relationship with them and you apply for credit cards, then they won't do a hard pull anymore, which is cool, okay? But if you are trying to avoid multiple inquiries and stuff, the Barclays card is definitely one of the cards that you wanted to consider. Just like with Chase, talking about Chase, Chase with their restricted rules and stuff, of course, about the 524, but also they pulled TransUnion and Equifax as well. Now, for some of you all that may not understand the Chase 524 rule, basically, if you've had 5 open revolving accounts in the past 24 months, okay, then they may deny you. Sometimes even if you have the 524, sometimes they're flexible enough to where they'll go ahead and approve you for a business credit card with Chase, okay? So I'm not going to tell you don't try to get a business credit card with them if you already have 5 open revolving accounts, but just keep that in mind. Now, one of the things that you do need to understand about Chase, especially dealing with them, and we're going to get back to talking about Barclays, but something that you need to understand, because this is going to relate about the 524, because Barclays has a similar situation going on. But let me help you understand. Say that you was denied a business credit card with Chase, all right? Make sure that they're not counting personal loans, and you want to make sure they are not counting, say that you had an authorized user added onto your credit file. Make sure they don't have those things, so that way you can qualify for your business credit card. Now, how that relates to Barclays is because Barclays is inquiry sensitive as well, okay? So if you have more than 6 inquiries, then you're in that danger zone for them as well. So if you have 5+ more new accounts within the past 2 years, they definitely will, even with a 780, 800 credit score, they definitely will turn you down. But again, when you have that type of situation, if it's not revolving accounts or an authorized user, you definitely want to get on the phone with them and explain that to the reconsideration line in order for them to approve you, all right? That being said, understanding that with Barclays usually, their credit scores, they usually want you to be about a 700 or higher. That doesn't say that if you're a 690, they won't, because there are other factors like your debt to income ratio. Now, because they are a major bank, then your DTI, definitely you want to keep your DTI around no higher than 55%. Okay, your debt to income ratio. They're also income sensitive. Let's understand about income when it comes to applying for a Barclays credit card. Okay, this is very important because a lot of people miss the opportunity because they may be hovering about a 690, not that 700 credit score, but if you have a good income. Now, I always tell people, if you have a spouse in the household that has an income, make sure when you're applying for the credit card, you include your spouse's income. Now, like American Express, they want to know if you have a retirement plan, a 401k plan. But if you have child support, alimony, that's income you should be putting on the application as well. Okay? Now, when it comes to rent, one of the things that I always tell people, your rent is usually, how they look at it is usually, you try to keep it no higher than at 20-25%, especially in an economy like this. Okay, and that's very important for you to get qualified for the Barclays card. Now, mentioning the Barclays card, you have the JetBlue Barclays card, which I like. I had this card for a couple years now, and it's a very interesting card, especially if you say that you max the card out. You're not going to have to worry about them reporting to the credit bureaus. Okay, so that's the reason that I like this card, the personal credit bureau. So it's not going to hurt your debt to income ratio with that. Now, they also have the Hawaiian Airlines card. So you may be a person that wants to go to Hawaii and take advantage of the points and stuff they offer. But one of the things that you do need to know about the Hawaiian airline card, it's a World Mastercard. Now, when it's a World Elite Mastercard, this is very important because most people don't understand the difference between a regular Mastercard and a World Elite Mastercard. With your World Elite Mastercards, they're usually going to start you at $5,000 or higher, usually closer to the $10,000. All right, that's what's important. If you're going for a card like that and you say that you want to make sure you're getting $5,000 or more, you may want to look at the World Elite Mastercard. You have the Wyndham business credit cards, which I've also made a video talking about the data points of it. So you may be an individual that likes going to Vegas like I do or whatever, or Atlantic City, or like gambling and stuff like that. The Wyndham Rewards Visa is a Visa signature. So with your Visa signature, they usually start at about $5,000 or higher. Had it been a Visa Infinite, it would be $10,000 or higher. But with your Wyndham, you're looking at $5,000 or higher. Then they have the other business credit card, is the AAdvantage. It's a World Elite Mastercard as well. Now, what I would do if I'm going for cards, I probably would definitely stick with the co-partner branded cards. So I would probably go for the Wyndham because it's a Visa signature. You might have a higher chance of approval on that, as well as the JetBlue. Those are probably your lowest hanging fruit for business credit cards. That being said, I was talking about a backdoor way. Well, many of you may not know that if you have a Old Navy credit card, Old Navy credit cards, they're distributed by Barclays as well. So if you already have an Old Navy credit card and you're making your payments and stuff on time because you're already database, you may have a higher chance of being approved even with a lower credit score with Barclays. And what I mean by lower credit score, making sure that you have a 690 or higher. So if you already have if you have a company and you want a business credit card and you already have a Old Navy credit card, this may be a backdoor to move over to the business credit cards because they already have data points on you, how you pay your bills and stuff like that, in which you can take advantage of that to leverage to show them that you are responsible enough to get one of their credit cards. So if you have any other questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, click the link in the description and schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.